All right, this is Deanna Marie, and welcome back here to the Clusie. And today we're going to be talking about how it all begins in your mind. Okay, so let's get started. All right, today's Bible verse is going to be
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 25.
So open up those Bibles, pray, get in the Word, let God talk to you what He wants to talk to you about. It's very important. Okay, guys. So that being said, I want you to pay attention to somebody. It says in the Bible, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, and that you will have your prayers answered. Okay, that's what it says about a husband finding a wife. Okay, same thing. A wife, if you find a good husband, you're going to find a protector and a provider and somebody who's going to care for your needs and stuff like that. Okay, it's a two-way relationship, right? And it's nurtured and protected and honored by God, okay? But this is a warning because we're going into the new year, and some of us are getting in new relationships. Some of you guys are in new relationships. Some of you guys are entertaining marriage and all kinds of other stuff. So this verse right here, it's talking to Solomon, is warning people not to lust after her beauty in your heart. So what does that mean? When you choose to commit adultery, when you choose to, we'll just say, for example, you are going to go steal something from someone. It's a carefully thought out plan that starts in your mind. You don't just walk down the street and say, I'm going to steal something normally. Normally, you thought about it, you thought what you wanted to take, you kind of planned it out, and then you went and did it, okay? But it began with the thought that was planted there. Normally, that's planted by the enemy, right? Adam and Eve showing the tree, right? Look at he did not point out all of the trees that they were allowed to eat of. He just wanted them to pay attention to the one that they weren't allowed to have. And sometimes when you are married or you're in a relationship, the enemy will highlight somebody who's very tempting, but you shouldn't have it. David and Bathsheba, right? He's married, he's hanging out on his patio, and then he looks out and he sees a woman bathing. And he's like, I want that, bring it to me. But it began with a look in his eyes, and then he started planning it in his heart and his mind, right? And so you guys need to be very careful, and you can't stop from seeing things, but you can stop what you entertain in your mind. You can stop thinking about certain things. You can stop and say, well, you know what? That is not something that I'm going to do to my wife or my husband or my girlfriend. Whatever it is, I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm not even going to think about that, because that is not beneficial towards our relationship. Because earlier today, I was listening to this woman on, I think it was YouTube, and she was talking about how she cheated on her husband and he divorced her, and they asked her a question like, oh, would you want him back? And she was like, I don't even think I could go back, because it all began when I started thinking about what I was going to do, and then I did it. I wouldn't even be able to go back to my husband, her now ex-husband, and behave like a wife, because my mind isn't on my ex-husband. Now my mind is on chasing this new person. But it began with a thought. And from that thought, from that whole, thinking about it, planning it out, there were many of times that she could have stopped. She could have stopped it. She could have rejected it. She could have said, you know what, it's tempting, but I'm not going to do that. Because once you cross a certain line, you can't go back. It's like Pharaoh and Moses. Remember? Pharaoh was going back and forth with Moses, like, oh, take away the plagues, And then Moses would come back in there and he'd say, all right, let my people go. And Pharaoh would say, no. And then the plagues would happen. And then he'd be like, whoa, Moses, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm really going to let you go. And then he wasn't. He's playing with it, right? And then it got to the point where there was no more playing around. Something was going to happen. And when you think about adultery and you start entertaining it in your mind, it comes to a certain point where you will end up acting on it. And you may have no intentions of ever going down that path, and you may imagine, oh, I would never do something like that to somebody. But that is where it all begins. And when you entertain it and you get to a certain point, it crosses a line and you can't help yourself, and you will end up doing something that you will regret for the rest of your days. And that lady that I listened to today, she said, I wish I could go back and never even see that person. I wish that I could go back because I am stuck, but I would never be able to go back to my husband because I don't think about him. I think of the new person. And that is where she's at. And that all began from her messing around, flirting with somebody at work. And I bet when she started working there and she was happily married with children and everything like that, I guarantee that is not what she thought was going to happen. So think about that and I swear, please hear this warning. If you are in a relationship, and somebody's, and you're like, oh, this is innocent, it's fun. There is a line that you will cross where it will no longer be like that, and it'll turn into you have to feel this need. You need this gratification, and once you cross that line, you will do something to the person that actually loves you, and you will not be able to take that back. So I don't know who needed to hear this today. I don't know. I don't know. But this is a warning. Don't entertain it. If you saw it and you were like, don't even think about it. Just like Joseph, he ran from Potiphar's wife. Run from that situation by just rejecting it and being like, nope, not even going to think about it. Not even going to entertain it. All right? So anyways, share, subscribe, and comment as always. And I'll see you guys back here next time.